Welcome guys down to Ponte Vedra, Florida, one of my favorite places. We are at a beautiful garden we did in combination with Square Root. So Leslie, one of our designers on our side, and Square Root, Jason with Square Root Gardening, did a combo here that is just spectacular. So number one, we're in a neighborhood that is just drop dead gorgeous. You can see above me all these beautiful 100-year oaks on the intercoastal right behind us. So the backdrop is just spectacular on this one, number one. And then you take that combination and you put Jason with Square Root. This was our first time ever working with these guys, and hands down, amazing. So Jason's the one that gave us a shout out, said, hey, do you guys do water gardening? And so Leslie was able to go ahead and revitalize this bad boy. So I absolutely love this water feature. It's one of my favorites that Leslie's done so far. This was already a space that was here. And so I'll talk about the water garden part of it first, but I want to go over the garden too, because I think Jason did an amazing job. I'm going to steal the credit on that in a sense by showing you guys this in one of our videos, but all credit goes to Jason on this one. All right guys, so let's go over the water feature side of it. So when it came to the entire design, so the existing pond that was here is not one we built, but it wasn't a bad one by any means, right? It was just kind of old, outdated, had some leak issues. We got to get creative with the water feature. So this is not typically a huge one that we do, but we wanted to stay with the space, right? So even though this is a huge front yard, you have these landing points, right? So you got the walkways, you got the house, you got these beautiful oaks. And so every home, a lot of times determines how big we can go with them. And this is the proper size for this space, for this to fit in. Now what we did is we modernized it. We brought in the Missouri rock, which was not really here in Jacksonville. Nobody was using this like 15, 20 years ago. And so Leslie worked with it. I think she did a great job. So we have our waterfall like we always do going into a pond, but what's different on this one is it overflows, so the pond overflows into an intake bay at the far end. But before we get down there, I just want to talk a little bit about the design process. So Leslie and Jason with Square Root Gardening, they got pretty creative, okay? So the existing pond that you guys saw was running pretty much tight up against this oak tree right through here. So the waterfall and stream was right here. That doesn't work, right? So in order for the pond and the oak tree to coexist, you can't have them jammed up like that against each other. So we went ahead and with the homeowner's grace, we're able to get very creative on this one. So the existing walkway used to run right through here, right? So we bumped it out, right, to give us the space we needed for this water feature to really exist properly. And also, that way it wasn't so straight line, right? The water feature before was very straight line. We wanted to get rid of that whole effect. We wanted to come out as far as we possibly could without destroying any of the other looks. So once again, I think Leslie did an amazing job. So we got this walkway that comes down, leads us right into the intake bay, right? I don't know if you guys noticed, but we have here in Jacksonville what we call the squigglies, and that's these guys here. They make a hot mess. So these guys come off the oak trees, the beautiful oak trees that we have, right? It's part of the whole pollen where people get allergy issues. And within a matter of 5 days, a property can look a hot mess. And that's a good example, right? So I think it's very nice. It's kind of actually charming for our video today, but it can make a hot mess pretty darn quickly. What is amazing about it though, is that's a lot of water up there. And so this small, I don't know if you guys noticed how small the space is. Any of the other pond builders out there are gonna go, how the heck did you guys get this to work? Well, what we did is we tore up the walkway, like I said, and we made a huge intake bay. So the actual AquaBlox system underneath here, the rainwater harvesting cistern, comes all the way out to here, all the way across, and then back over, right? So it's a huge space. I think we have somewhere in the range of 25 or 30 AquaBlox on this one, large AquaBlox. And so in order to put that in the space, we could not go deep. Out here in Ponte Vedra, and then in neighborhood we're in particular, has very big problems with groundwater table. So we can only do one layer across this entire thing. But that's the beauty of this system, is we can build the infrastructure right back on top of the AquaBlox and put a walkway right over it. Isn't that cool? So, so really good, and it's all designed and calculated so there's enough water storage here, so every time you turn it on, it can fill the entire waterfall, pond, and stream without depleting itself, okay? So pretty cool. Another little really cool one that Sean did is add this stone right into the space. So it was kind of questionable on how many pavers we're gonna have, and Sean just said, hey, we're gonna have to create an elevation change. Why not do it out of the same rock material? And it really ties it together how that design kind of flows through right into space. I'd say that's probably the last little cool thing about this water feature. So many, but a great addition last minute. So why don't we kick it over? I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time. Why don't we kick it over to the garden? Because I want to spend a little time on that, because this one's pretty special. The way Leslie and Jason did this together, it's amazing. So let's kick it over to the garden, guys. All right, guys, so now is, in this case, my favorite. Let's talk about what Square Root Jason Gardening did on this one. He did a beautiful design. So as we're walking on a natural flagstone pathway. He incorporated, as we go throughout this entire project, he's incorporated our same Missouri boulders. So we were able to go ahead and hook him up, make sure he had some of our material to tie in what we did with the water feature with the garden. But I just wanted to take a moment. He did an amazing job. I'm not going to talk about the full design. I just want to show you some of the cool plants he used. I think they're pretty super interesting. In the garden, in the design, actually, I'm going to take it back. He did incorporate what we already had with existing, of course, the oak trees, camellias, some of the stuff that was here stayed, and he worked within the garden. But some of my favorite things he did is he raised the garden. So he used these boulders to kind of lift these gardens up, bring in soil, and create texture, like elevation, without having to do like a hard amount of work. And it really looks good. It really turned out very nicely. So some of my favorite plants in this garden that Jason did on this one are going to be your ajuga. I absolutely love the ajuga. Ajuga is such an amazing shade loving plant. If you put this in the sun, it's not going to do well. And underneath these oak trees, it is thriving. So I love it for its bronze kind of chocolate color leaf. So just by itself, it's a very interesting looking plant. And then it blooms these purple flowers, which are amazing. And it blooms quite often, to be honest, right? And so as we walk through the garden, some other fun things, it's just the way he did this eclectiveness, right? So in the winter times, your hydrangeas don't look as great. Where in the early spring, they're just starting to flush out new growth. But he did this really fun look where he's got the impatiens mixed with the holly fern, the hydrangeas. So this garden in the summertime, bromeliads, purple queen, this garden is just gonna be flower packed, just very cool textures and different things to it. So I love this garden. He also created a very easy way to get from one pathway to another. So this whole garden is supposed to be experiential. You're supposed to be able to walk through it, right? We've never talked about this, but I can tell with his design exactly what he did. It's very intentional. So you walk through and then you get right up. I think that people like to call this the gray man beard tree. So I don't know if we can get a close up on it. We're getting to the end of its flower cycle, but early spring here, these things do amazing. I love these trees. Not a lot of people use them in gardens, but this is just so fun. Like early spring, the homeowner gets to come home down their driveway into this beautiful white blooming tree. And I'm gonna figure out where he got these from, because I think these are amazing. I haven't seen one that big installed in a long time. So he even brought it across the driveway, guys. He brought in this water feature. So we only got to landscape this side of the house. And so when he came in, he designed this and he brought it and he spilled it out. I think he did a beautiful job. Most often as the pond builder that comes in, we only get to put the water feature in. So on this one, he was able to go ahead and take these rocks and make it look so intentional. So like we were in nature where you're out in the woods and you see these beautiful rocks everywhere. And as you're coming up, you see the beautiful rocks. Now you're hearing the sound and sight of the water feature, and it gets very intensive with the rock work, right? But most often we just get to come in, put this water feature in, and at the max, maybe get a boulder out here, a boulder out there. But this homeowner really believed in us and Jason with Square Root and let us go the full bang, and it was worth it. So I hope you like this. If you guys saw any plants in the garden that we didn't talk about, please let us know and we'll answer them. I think that's about it. I hope everybody likes it, and I hope we get to work with Jason Square Root Gardening in the future, because this turned out amazing, and I think any project we do together is gonna be the same way. All right, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.